Ladies and gentlemen, would you please take your seats? Señoras y señores, por favor, si pueden tomar sus asientos. Ya vamos a comenzar. I would like to ask you to please silence your cell phones as we transition into this next portion of the meeting. Por favor, si se pueden poner a silencio sus teléfonos para que podamos platicar bien, teniendo los gobernadores y el secretario aquí con nosotros. It gives me great pleasure at this time to welcome President David Farker, President of the AMC. Thank you very much.
Welcome, everybody. It's truly a sight to see from up here. It's impressive, the amount of people that we have in this room. I'm happy to announce that we have had record attendance to this summit. It is fantastic to see the engagement that we have both from Sonora and Arizona. And when we started planning this about a year ago, I couldn't imagine this type of attendance. So give all of yourselves a round of applause for your participation. And one of the things that we wanted to do a little bit different, we didn't want just to have speeches delivered. We wanted to have a little bit more of interaction for you to get to know exactly a little bit more intimate what our leaders represent. So with that, we're going to have a conversation with our two governors. And first of all, I want to welcome Governor Ducey. Give me 1 second here. So with us today, Governor of Arizona, Doug Ducey, a determined and resolute leader that is moving Arizona government at the speed of business. He's the strongest and most ardent champion for Arizona. He's also our host of the summit. So please welcome to the stage Governor Doug Ducey. We also have the pleasure of having Governor of Sonora, Governor Pavlovich, which is the chair of the Comisión Sonora, Arizona. She's a woman associated with many firsts, in the words like only and historic. She's the first woman to hold the position of Governor of Sonora. She is currently the only woman to hold a statewide elected office in Mexico. So with that, please welcome Governor Claudia Pavlovich. Also on stage, we have the privilege of having one of President Peña Nieto's cabinet members with us, Secretary of Agriculture, Secretary of Zagarpa, Jose Calzada. Please join us on stage. So it's a pleasure to have you all here. I'm going to start with Governor Pavlovich. Vamos a empezar con la gobernadora Pavlovich, que nos comparte algunas de sus ideas. Y me gustaría preguntarle, ¿se han realizado un sinnúmero de reuniones similares a esta? La relación binacional entre Arizona y Sonora tiene décadas, pero ¿cuál es la visión de esta relación? ¿Qué aspecto nuevo de la relación entre ambos estados podemos esperar para esta reunión?
Bueno, muchísimas gracias, David, por todo el gran trabajo que han realizado todos y cada uno de ustedes. Thank you, Governor Ducey, for your host, and Pepe Calzada, secretario de Agricultura de nuestro gobierno federal. Muchísimas gracias por acompañarnos. Thank you very much to all of you for being here. Para mí esto es diferente porque tanto el gobernador Ducey, que no solo es mi homólogo de Arizona, sino un gran amigo, tenemos la gran posibilidad de crear una megaregión. Es decir, no solo lo que se hacía antes, un intercambio cultural o de sujetos y objetos que iban y venían, sino de cosas más importantes. Es decir, crear una megaregión con todas las oportunidades que esto nos puede traer, tanto en educación como en salud, como en creación de generación de empleos, que sin duda eso es lo que puede sacar adelante a nuestros representados. Tanto para él como para mí, los gente de Arizona y la gente de Sonora son lo más importante y creemos sin duda que esta mega región que pretendemos vender hacia el exterior con un gran potencial, con una gran iniciativa, con una gran voluntad de hacerlos juntos, como uno solo, tenemos grandes expectativas de que se logre. Cuando se creó la Comisión Sonora Arizona hace 56 años por el gobernador Álvaro Obregón y el gobernador Paul Fanning, se dijo que era muy importante que Dios nos hubiera dado una vecindad, pero también el ser buenos vecinos es importante. Y ser buenos vecinos significa compartir una geografía, compartir el clima, compartir familia, compartir el gusto por la cocina, pero también significa crear nuevas formas de hacer las cosas para realmente poder sobresalir y competir en un complejo mundo global como lo es ya el que estamos viviendo, con muchísima competitividad y con muchas cosas que debemos ofertar para realmente poder sobresalir.
Muchas gracias, gobernadora. I'm going to turn to Governor Ducey. And Governor, I want to ask you, the Arizona-Sonora region is linked by cultural, familial, and economic issues. What are the region's greatest opportunities and biggest challenges?
Well, first I want to say how thrilled I am to see this room so packed with people. I understand that this is our record attendance for the Arizona-Mexico Commission, so I'm grateful for you all being here. And I also want to welcome my friend Governor Claudia Pavlovich and her husband Sergio. It's been just wonderful to work with you over this past year, and I'm thrilled that you're our neighbor and have been in office. And to my new friend as well, the Transportation Secretary of Mexico, there's so much that we can do together. And David, I'm grateful for the job you're doing in leading the Arizona-Mexico relationship. And I think this really goes to what's possible here. We have a neighboring state of Sonora. We believe we have a super region in which to do business. We have a state in Arizona that is one of the most attractive places in the nation in which to live. We had tremendous growth last year of 100,000 new citizens and 52,000 new jobs for our state, and Forbes projects us to be the #1 state in the nation for future job growth. And I really believe it's this relationship that we have with Mexico and that we have with Sonora that is part of the attractiveness to business people, to entrepreneurs, and to innovators. And we've seen proof of that with the success that we've had with the location, investment, and relocation of companies to the state of Arizona. So whether this is the aerospace and defense industry, the mining industry, the transportation business, tourism, in all of these settings and in any of these sectors, this relationship and the growth of this relationship has been positive for the state of Arizona, and I believe it's been positive for Mexico as well.
Thank you very much, Governor. I'm going to turn to Secretary Calzada, and I would like to ask you, during your visit here, you've been able to meet with different business people, different entrepreneurs. What has been your impression of a region and the way we're collaborating together from the federal point of view?
Muchas gracias. Bueno, primero saludar al señor gobernador de Arizona, a mi amiga Claudia Pavlovich, que durante muy poco tiempo que lleva en su cargo, la gobernadora, pues ha hecho un cambio radical, no solamente en la forma de hacer negocios, sino en la actitud también. Yo lo que me llevo de esta visita a Arizona es que veo empresarios con una actitud muy importante en el ámbito de hacer negocios. Hay tremendas oportunidades en esta región. Los estados fronterizos de los Estados Unidos con México han venido demostrando, no solamente en discurso, sino en hecho, un incremento exponencial en materia de comercio y de exportaciones. Yo les platicaba esta mañana que tuvimos la oportunidad de charlar justo en este mismo salón que las exportaciones en el ámbito que a mí me corresponde, que son las agropecuarias, han tenido un incremento del 13% en el primer cuatrimestre de este año. Es algo exponencial. Vemos una oportunidad de negocios en cada paso que damos y en cada rincón que estamos. Y de reuniones como estas no solamente se sacan buenas oportunidades para hacer más negocios, sino también se saca y se puede extraer la buena relación y la buena actitud que hay entre nuestras gentes. Ayer en la noche tuvimos una cena con empresarios, esta mañana también tuvimos una cena con empresarios. El tema preponderante no es qué problemas nos aquejan, sino qué oportunidades tenemos. Y me parece que esa es la tónica y esa es la dinámica que debemos de seguir. Cada vez que volteamos a ver al mundo, debemos valorar más nuestra región. Mientras otros hablan ahorita de crisis y problemas, nosotros hablamos de oportunidades y de negocios. De tal suerte que yo celebro esta reunión con la gobernadora y el señor gobernador de Arizona, precisamente porque desde aquí mandamos un mensaje poderoso, que somos fuertes como región.
Muchas gracias por sus comentarios. Gobernadora, regresamos con usted. ¿Por qué se habla de una megaregión? ¿Cuáles son las razones y las ventajas que nos ofrecen a los empresarios los dos estados en ese concepto?
Pareces de televisión, David. Para romper el hielo. Me da mucho gusto poder compartir estas ideas con todos ustedes. La verdad es que, mira, tenemos 6 puertos de entrada, más bien de salida y de entrada en esta región. Tenemos 5.5 millones de personas que tienen una calidad de manufactura excelente. Tenemos la mejor universidad del noroeste, que es la Universidad de Sonora, y una universidad especializada en innovación, que es la Universidad de Arizona. Tenemos muchas cosas que nos unen, pero también muchas cosas que nos complementan. Aquí en esta región podemos esquiar en nieve, podemos esquiar en agua, podemos estar en el Gran Cañón, podemos estar en Elegante, en el cráter del Pinacate. Luego te invito, David, si no conoces, y al Governor Ducey también, y a Pepe, por supuesto. Decirles que tenemos una gran oportunidad y así la tenemos que ver. Mientras el mundo siga globalizado y mientras la competencia sea cada vez más fuerte, nosotros tenemos que vendernos como una sola región. Y esa sola región, sin duda, lo es Sonora y Arizona. Y así podemos conectarnos con el mundo, con Tokio, con el DF, con todo el país, y creo con todos los países del mundo, y además juntos podemos crecer como ningún otro. Tenemos muchas áreas de oportunidad, lo decía el gobernador Ducey, somos un estado minero, un clúster aeroespacial. En Sonora somos el segundo, en Estados Unidos son el cuarto. Es decir, tenemos la gran oportunidad de vendernos como una región y no la debemos desaprovechar.
Muchas gracias, gobernadora. Governor Ducey, what is so attractive about Arizona that world-class companies like Caterpillar and cutting-edge tech companies are moving here?
The things that make a decision for a business leader, an influencer, a chief executive, a business owner seem to revolve around a number of measurable issues. And we are focusing on that. I see that Sandra Watson is here from the Arizona Commerce Authority, and we want to have the best possible tax situation that we can so that we are competitive with our other 49 states. We want to look at the regulatory environment. We want to look at the ability to do business in a liability-free zone or an area where it is reasonable. And then there's other things like affordable and accessible energy, water, infrastructure, and of course a good and improving K-12 education system. So it really is all of these factors combined into something that we have focused on in our administration that centers around quality of life. We really believe that life is better here in Arizona. We think that we can show that over the course of time, that millions of Americans have packed up their U-Haul truck and made a decision to move from somewhere else in the country to our state. So it is these discussions, and I think our community has just been terrific over the last 18 months, and we've been fortunate with events like the Super Bowl, the College Football National Championship. Of course, annually we have the Waste Management Phoenix Open and the Barrett-Jackson Auto Auction. We're proud to be hosting Copa America these last several weeks, and to use these large events in which people come from around the nation and around the world to enjoy them, to actually present our state to people that are considering leaving where they're doing business today. So we've had a lot of discussions with people from California and Illinois, which are really the two leading states that lead our population growth. Those also happen to be wonderful places for us to look for businesses. And of course, people have questions around all of those issues, but it's not any one single issue. It's the combination of them. It's seeing that we're going in the right direction on those factors. And then I also think it's important that business leaders know that there will be political predictability at the state level, and that they will see a state government and a state that is continually improving and wants to be a better quality of life, wants to be a better place for citizens to live, to work, to begin a business, or to recreate.
Thank you very much, Governor. I want to follow up in one of your comments that you've made, talking about our mega events, and specifically about the largest golf tournament in the world, the Waste Management Phoenix Open that we host here. And I'm very proud to say and announce here that the group has chosen a Sonora native to be tournament chairman for 2018, which is breakthrough, and we're very proud to have that. So we look forward to that particular year for the golf tournament. And with that, Secretary Calzada, Mexico is the United States' main supplier for fresh fruits and vegetables. Where do you see the trends going in this industry and with the relationship with both countries?
Sí, cómo no. A ver, hace un momento platicábamos de que México pasó de ser un productor de productos del sector primario masivo a un productor de productos de alto contenido de valor. Hace muchos años esto sucedió cuando entró en vigor el TLC y tuvimos que empezar a invertir para poder ser más competitivos. Hoy vemos aquí a los productores de Sonora, pero también vamos y vemos a los productores de Sinaloa, o a los productores de Michoacán y productores de Jalisco, que han cambiado no solamente la forma, sino también el gran contenido, es decir, la esencia de su producción. Y han pasado a sembrar jitomate, y a sembrar aguacate, y a sembrar cosas de alto contenido que está consumiendo de manera importante los Estados Unidos. Por ejemplo, de las importaciones de jitomate que hace Estados Unidos, México provee el 65%. 1 de cada 3 jitomates que se consumen aquí en los Estados Unidos los acaban de producir los compañeros que por aquí saludé en la mañana, pues los produjeron ayer. Están frescos, están aquí en su mesa. Son productos de alto valor. Inclusive hoy platicábamos con la gobernadora Pavlovich sobre la posibilidad de empezar a explorar la transportación de productos del campo, como pueden ser las uvas o algunos otros productos de alto valor, por avión y no necesariamente por barco, por tren o por camión. Es decir, estamos mudando de una agricultura tradicional a una agricultura más selecta y a una agricultura de más valor. Por eso invitamos a los inversionistas que quieran invertir en México. No hay mucho que pensar, porque les va a ir bien. Y también no hay mucho que pensar en cuanto a invertir en nuestro país, porque al final del camino somos complementarios. Hay un dato que es muy importante en el marco grande de la globalización o del comercio global entre nosotros. De cada peso que México envía a Estados Unidos como exportación, el 40% de ese peso es americano. Por eso a veces las cifras de déficit y superávit son cifras no necesariamente muy precisas. Sí lo son en cuanto al número, pero en cuanto al contenido de valor Tenemos un gran valor que ya viene de los Estados Unidos. Entonces nos estamos convirtiendo en una región de mayor complementación. Pero hay un apartado que a mí me interesa mucho explorar y que lo pongo aquí en la mesa de la gobernadora Pavlovich y del señor gobernador del estado de Arizona, y es el tema de la educación. Yo creo que debemos estar mucho más conscientes que entre nuestra gente tiene que haber una mejor comunicación, mayor intercambio, pero también una mejor comunicación, y aquí se afianzan las estructuras culturales entre nuestras naciones. El presidente de la República, el licenciado Enrique Peña Nieto, tiene mucho interés en que 100,000 estudiantes mexicanos estén en los Estados Unidos, ese es el compromiso. Pero creo que puede haber iniciativas entre las propias entidades federativas, entre los propios estados, seguramente ya las hay, para incrementar el número de estudiantes que vayan a las universidades de Arizona, que vayan a las universidades de Sonora. Siempre hay mucho que aprender, siempre hay mucho que aportar. Yo tuve la oportunidad de ser gobernador de un pequeño estado en México y yo recuerdo muy bien que yo quería llevarme a una universidad americana, una universidad pública americana, a mi estado. Finalmente lo logramos. Fuimos al estado de Arkansas State University, se está abriendo un campus en mi estado y es la primera universidad pública que sale de los Estados Unidos para irse a México, y eso ha generado una inercia muy interesante, una gran opinión, un gran interés entre los jóvenes en estudiar. Adoptamos de los Estados Unidos sus planes de estudio, financiamiento privado construye la universidad, y yo estoy plenamente seguro que esos jóvenes van a aprender biotecnología, van a aprender ingeniería, que van a poder regresar a los países y van a poder contribuir con mayor riqueza. México hoy tiene una dinámica especial en ciertas materias. Por ejemplo, México se está dedicando mucho a producir ingenieros. México produce 120,000 ingenieros por año, 30,000 ingenieros por año más que Estados Unidos. ¿Por qué? Porque México está pasando de ser un país eminentemente manufacturero a un país intensivo en ideas. Y eso es muy importante. Esa no solamente es una riqueza para México, es una riqueza para la región. Por eso el intercambio educativo a mí me parece que es de uno de los aspectos que como país y como región debemos de explorar.
Muchas gracias, señor secretario. Voy a cambiar el orden un poco. I'm going to change the order to give Governor Pavlovich the first opportunity and the last to speak. So I'm going to go with Governor Ducey and say, a more seamless connectivity can strengthen our region's economic output. What are the region's priorities when it comes to transportation?
There's probably nothing better that we can invest in to improve the trade between Arizona and Mexico and Arizona and Sonora than in our transportation system. And I think it's part of the reason why we have the Secretary of Transportation here. Well, I was thrilled to hear our Secretary Agriculture, I'm sorry, of Agriculture, and we are certainly moving the agriculture over our infrastructure. How's that for a say? And we're thrilled to have the Secretary of Agriculture here as well as our Director of Transportation, John Halikowski. And we've talked about how we've changed the way we're doing budgets at the state level so that we can prioritize transportation projects that will improve the trade between Arizona and Mexico. We believe that we are the front door to the American economy. We want to have a welcome to Arizona and a welcome to America sign that says that we are open for business. So not only the things that we are very good at in terms of agriculture, I see many of my friends from Yuma County here, but the things that Mexico is very good at and making sure that we can get these products over the border, especially in a situation when it's a perishable product and time is literally money in those situations. So not only have we been able to make investments at the border and around the border in terms of infrastructure, but we've been able to work on pre-clearance programs so that we can do the proper things to check transportation, but also to expedite it. and do it in a way where there's a partnership, where there's safety for all of our citizens, but that we let business and trade flow.
Thank you, Governor. Gobernadora, quisiera que compartiera con nosotros qué está haciendo Sonora para ser un estado más atractivo para la inversión.
Mira, David, ahorita que me haces esa pregunta, ha pasado 9 meses, 9 meses o ya no sé ni qué, 9 meses. Y bueno, creo que hemos hecho muchas cosas, pero lo principal que creo que estamos haciendo es darle certeza a quienes vayan a invertir en mi estado y confianza. Estaba platicando hace rato con un gran empresario a nivel nacional e internacional y ellos lo único que quieren es invertir y que uno como gobierno les dé facilidades, no te piden nada. Al contrario, me decía, yo no pido nada, lo único que quiero es invertir y generar riqueza. Y ustedes como gobierno que inviertan en lo que tienen que invertir, en generar empleos, en poder hacer mayores carreteras, infraestructura. Y la verdad me dio mucho gusto esa actitud. Y esa actitud de muchos empresarios quizá a veces los gobiernos no lo sabemos aprovechar o no lo sabemos dimensionar. Y yo sí lo sé dimensionar. Y sé perfectamente que como gobierno lo que tengo que hacer es ser honesta y transparente. Mi gobierno que tiene que ser un gobierno eficaz, un gobierno que dé resultados. Por eso hemos invertido en 9 meses 2.400 millones de pesos en infraestructura carretera, en rehabilitar nuestras carreteras. ¿Por qué? Porque estaban hechas pedazos y necesitamos para ello ser competitivos, para que nuestra gente pueda ser competitiva en los valles del Yaqui, del Mayo, que aquí hay mucha gente productor, necesitamos que nuestras carreteras estén en buen estado. En el anterior sexenio se invirtieron solo 400 millones, nosotros estamos invirtiendo 2.400. ¿Para qué? Para que el desarrollo económico pueda darse una detonación económica y generación de empleo. ¿Qué estamos haciendo también? Estamos haciendo que se mejoren los servicios de salud y de educación, pero sobre todo estamos haciendo y logrando conectividad con otros países, con otros estados de vecinos países y estamos también logrando que la confianza del inversionista vuelva a Sonora. Y para ello lo que tenemos que hacer es fortalecer nuestras instituciones, tenemos que dar facilidades a los inversionistas, tenemos que hacer que los trámites sean rápidos, tenemos que hacer que la burocracia sea mucho menor. A eso le apuesto a que seamos un estado competitivo, a un estado que dé certeza a los empresarios de que vamos a hacer todo porque ellos vengan a invertir en nuestra región, en la mejor región del mundo, que es la región Sonora-Arizona, Arizona-Sonora. Y también decirles, ya es la última oportunidad que tengo para hablar.
Y unos comentarios para cerrar después.
Ah, bueno, entonces ya.
Muchas gracias. También quisimos abrir un poco, we wanted to open for some questions from the public, and I was just handed a question from somebody from the audience. This question comes from Bruce Bracker, and it says, in light of the British vote to exit the European Union, what can both governors do to educate or promise the importance of NAFTA for trading in a region?
Bruce, I think that's a very good question, especially at this time, given the events of this morning or yesterday, depending on your time zone. And I think what we should be doing is exactly what we're doing here today. I mean, we are taking advantage of our geography, the relationship that we've already built, and we have a focus on a natural relationship in terms of being a neighbor and also realizing the strength of a North American trade organization. So I have long been a believer that the strength of Mexico combined with the United States and Canada is a tremendous focus, and it's why my first international trip was, of course, to our largest trading partner, ×4, which is the country of Mexico. So we're building on a relationship that already exists because of our geography. We have seen it grow tremendously, over $1 billion in the past 12 months. It's nearly $18 billion in total trade right now. And one thing that was very eye-opening for me when I visited Mexico City last year and was able to sit with the Secretary of the Economy, he said to me, Doug, we do more trade as a nation with the state of Arizona than we do with the entire Pacific Rim. And if you think about the amount of focus that has been on Pacific Rim trade over the last 30 years, and that we enjoy more trade together, my thought was that we should focus on this, on being the front door and the crossroads in Arizona. I think it's a tremendous opportunity for the citizens of my state, and it gives a natural partnership with our neighbor to the south in Sonora, and it allows us to work in a very cooperative way with the cabinet secretaries of the federal government. So I think that there, of course, will be these different political changes that are happening around the world, but if you look at the European Union in comparison to what we have or have built over the last several decades, if we focus on what's in our backyard and what's to the benefit of our citizens, I think we'll be able to do it in a very exciting time in the worldwide economy.
Thank you.
Bueno, sin duda creo que como que hubiéramos presentido que eso iba a pasar. Yo la verdad estoy sorprendida de lo que sucedió, no tanto por lo que sucedió, sino quienes definieron la salida del Reino Unido de la Comunidad Europea, que fueron las personas de 65 años y más. Yo hubiera pensado que quienes hubieran definido la salida hubieran sido los jóvenes. Eso es algo que me ha hecho reflexionar este día sobre ese tema. Creo que esta región, con la ayuda de mis secretarios, que siempre la he tenido, de mi amigo Pepe y de muchos secretarios de Estado que les seguiré tocando las puertas y gestionando, podemos tener la gran oportunidad de salir adelante y que esto no nos afecte a nosotros como Estado. Estoy segura que ante los problemas que podemos visualizar en este tema, tenemos que ver también la gran oportunidad que tenemos como región, insisto, la región Sonora, Sonora, de poder tomar ventaja de esta realidad que hoy estamos viviendo. Estoy segura que lo podemos hacer porque tenemos la capacidad para hacerlo, tenemos la voluntad, tenemos el equipo, tenemos la geografía, tenemos los instrumentos y lo que tenemos que hacer para poder salir adelante. Yo estoy segura que los gestiones que haré para que el gasto no se reduzca en mi estado, por lo menos en infraestructura, en salud y educación, Pepe me hará una buena, y en agricultura me hará un buen trabajo ahí de gestión y de trabajo, pero si hablamos de una región como es la Sonora, Sonora, estoy segura que podemos sacar una oportunidad de lo que sucedió el día de ayer.
Muchas gracias. I have another question from the audience. This question is actually anonymous. Nothing to be nervous about. How can we develop a strong, well-educated, well-prepared youth and vibrant workforce that allows our region to be competitive?
This has been an animating issue for my administration, and I don't think there's anything better that we can do as leaders than to focus on the children. In Arizona, it's 1,100,000 children we have in our public K-12 education system. And I think it is a combination of both resources that we apply to this effort and then reforms so that we can see improvements and better results. One of the things that I'm very proud of in this first 18 months of our administration is something that's called Proposition 123. This was something that was the settlement of a years-long lawsuit that predated our administration. It was also some supplemental funds that we had in our general fund because we were able to finally balance our budget. And then we were able to use our state land trust, something that exists to benefit K-12 education. So in essence, we took a settlement of a lawsuit to the voters in a special election, and if successful, we would be able to put $3.5 billion additional dollars into K-12 education without raising taxes. We had to build a strong coalition of the business community, the education establishment, and elected leaders to get this done. And I see Sharon Harper in the audience here. Will you stand up and just give a wave, Sharon? Sharon is the leader of Greater Phoenix Leadership. This is our C-level business leader organization, and Sharon led the effort in the business community, and I just want her to know how grateful I am. It's a tough political environment, and I think that with what's happening in Washington, D.C., many citizens are predisposed to think that any additional dollar spent at the public level is not being spent effectively. So we had to do a very good job educating people that we do know how to do this at the state level in Arizona, that these dollars would be applied to the classroom. And then we've been outspoken that this is a state responsibility. There may be many things as Americans that we can point to Washington, D.C. and blame them for, but public K-12 education in our country is a state responsibility. So I'm grateful to business leaders like Sharon Harper and organizations like GPL and the Chamber and the education establishment that stepped up to do this and then take ownership over the numbers that we're going to see, whether it's in third grade reading or eighth grade math or high school completion or college matriculation. But these are things that we should put forward, we should measure, we should understand that we need to think of the student first and foremost, and the way to do that is to have the proper resources flowing to the classroom in support of good teachers who get the job done. And I think if we have that focus and we have a partnership in terms of workforce and a growing economy, that's really the best way to keep a state a wonderful place to live and improve the quality of life.
Bueno, nosotros estamos haciendo un trabajo importante en el tema, primero, de infraestructura educativa. Estamos invirtiendo más de $1,000 millones de pesos con un programa federal del gobierno Peña Nieto en las escuelas al 100. La infraestructura educativa en nuestro país es sumamente importante y lo tenemos que poner como los estudiantes, los niños y los jóvenes lo merecen. Por otro lado, creo que también el tema vocacional debemos de guiarlo. Es decir, necesitamos, como bien lo decía Pepe, lo estaba mencionando, que teníamos muchos ingenieros, necesitamos más ingenieros en nuestro país, más que abogados, por ejemplo. ¿Para qué? Para que tengan absolutamente un trabajo seguro al momento de terminar su carrera. Entonces necesitamos que los institutos tecnológicos, del cual yo me siento profundamente orgulloso, uno que tenemos en Sonora, que es el Instituto Tecnológico de Hermosillo, que es uno de los principales proveedores de jóvenes profesionistas que trabajan en muchas de las empresas, de algunos por acá, que está Luis Felipe Sellner, que tiene muchos egresados de ahí, si no me equivoco, Luis Felipe. Necesitamos guiar muy bien la vocación de nuestros jóvenes, qué es lo que están estudiando para que inmediatamente puedan tener un trabajo seguro. Y por otro lado, fortalecer la relación con el gobierno de Arizona, en este caso, con el gobierno de Nuevo México. Estamos ya teniendo intercambios de jóvenes para que estudien con una, digamos, colegiatura igual que si fueran ciudadanos. Por ejemplo, en Nuevo México pueden estudiar en la universidad pagando como si fueran un ciudadano de Nuevo México. Entonces, para nosotros eso es muy importante, pero insisto en el tema de la vocación. O sea, necesitamos ir guiando a nuestros egresados y sobre todo a los que van a estudiar alguna carrera, que estudien carreras que inmediatamente puedan tener un trabajo bien pagado y seguro.
Gracias, gobernador. En estos momentos me gustaría darle oportunidad al secretario Calzada de que haga cualquier comentario final que quisiera hacer a este panel.
Sí, como no, con mucho gusto. A ver, déjeme retomar nada más el tema de la Unión Europea, porque hoy en la mañana platicaba aquí con los amigos y amigas de que mientras unos enfrentan retos, otros tienen oportunidades. El problema de algunos a veces es la gran oportunidad nuestra. La próxima semana van a estar en Canadá el presidente de México, el presidente de los Estados Unidos, el presidente Peña, el presidente Obama y el primer ministro de Canadá reunidos en algo que estaba previamente agendado, pero que representa hoy en día una gran oportunidad de fortaleza como región. Yo insisto mucho en ello porque a los tres países nos ha costado mucho trabajo construir lo que hoy tenemos. No empezó hace 20 años con el NAFTA, empezó hace muchos años con una integración cultural, que hoy es mucho más que eso y es una fortaleza mundial en términos económicos, y podremos mandar un mensaje importante al mundo en términos de que somos la región mucho más competitiva del planeta. Yo quiero aprovechar estas últimas palabras, entiendo que así como la gobernadora son los últimos minutos, pues para agradecerle al señor gobernador del estado de Arizona, agradecerle a Claudia Pavlovich, a todos los empresarios que nos hicieron favor de invitar por esta gran oportunidad. Vamos a estar muy cerca de Sonora, vamos a estar muy cerca de Arizona, y que sepan ustedes que en la Secretaría de Agricultura ahí tienen un amigo y tienen su casa. Muchas gracias.
Governor Ducey, any closing comments?
I just want to say again, thank you for the great turnout, for the successful meetings and summit. And I want to say how grateful I am to my good friend, Governor Claudia Pavlovich, to her husband, Sergio, for their commitment to making this relationship work, to being open to a new administration and a fresh start and all the possibilities that happen through good communication and partnership. And I want to say that it has been a pleasure hosting you as well today, Mr. Secretary, and it was great to meet you and to know your experience as a successful governor in the country of Mexico. And I think with this business-like focus we have on improving our economies and the quality of life for our citizens, with safety as a high priority, there is so much that we can do by working together, and just know that our administration is committed to this relationship and that this is just the beginning, and we look forward to what is possible working together in the years ahead. And David, I couldn't be more proud than to have you on my team. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Governor. Gobernadora, estas sí serán sus últimas palabras, pero creo que tiene algunos anuncios muy importantes y muy bienvenidos para todos.
Bueno, primero que nada quiero agradecer la hospitalidad del gobernador Ducey y la presencia de mi amigo Pepe Calzada. Secretario, muchas gracias por atender a los productores tanto de Arizona como de Sonora, de esta región. Quiero agradecer también la presencia de ustedes, pero sobre todo la actitud de ustedes, empresarios que están hoy día presentes en esta Comisión Sonora Arizona. Agradecer los trabajos de tuyos, David, de Ángel, de todo el equipo que trabajó en este pues gran evento que hoy culmina. Me siento profundamente orgulloso de los trabajos que se realizaron, de las conclusiones a las que hemos llegado. Como bien dice el gobernador, esto es solo el comienzo de esta gran relación, de esta gran región Sonora-Arizona. No quiero desaprovechar el momento y la ocasión de presentarles un video de esta mega región, pero también de invitarlos al concierto de Plácido Domingo, el gran tenor, el próximo 13 de octubre, martes, en Hermosillo, Sonora. I would like to invite you to the greatest concert, Plácido Domingo, in Hermosillo, October 11, Tuesday, 8 o'clock. I will wait for you, and the tickets are, where are they? I know, Ticketmaster, I think, and the Oficina of Sonora. Thank you very much. Gracias a todos, y de verdad agradezco sobre todo la actitud de todos ustedes por hacer posible este gran evento, y sé que es solo el comienzo.
Muchas gracias, gobernador. Do we have the video the governor mentioned?
Imagine a place in the world with a collective economic force produced by the synergy of two countries who work across two states, united in a region that offers companies a platform for growth and the advantage of shared resources. This place is known as the Arizona-Sonora megaregion, a place that fosters increased trade, investment, and the exchange of knowledge. We have one of the most vibrant business and innovation environments anywhere in the world, where several industries are thriving: aerospace and aviation, automotive, and mining. In aerospace and aviation, we have one of the largest clusters in the US and Mexico. Our supply chain in aerospace and aviation includes 1,860 companies, responsible for 62,000 direct jobs. In fact, the complete supply chain is within a one-day trucking radius. As far as automotive, the mega region produces 1,488 vehicles daily. These vehicles are made possible due to 41 Tier 1 and Tier 2 companies in Sonora, as well as 99 motor vehicle and trailer manufacturing establishments in Arizona. Our prolific mining industry includes 140 mines that produce anthracite coal, copper, graphite, molybdenum, wollastonite, gold, and silver. We are also leaders in this industry, where Sonora is the only molybdenum producer with $8 billion of mining production. And as recent as 2014, nearly 2/3 of all copper mined in the U.S. was produced by Arizona. We offer competitive costs, a skilled workforce, outstanding infrastructure, and high quality of life to companies and their employees. Strategically located adjacent to some of the world's largest economies, 68 million people within a one-day drive, 6 international border ports, 2,379 miles of Class 1 railroad, mega hub airport with more same-day connection options than London Heathrow or Tokyo Haneda, deep seaports and sea routes. Our talent pool is comprised of 5.5 million highly skilled available workers. Mega Region has a high concentration of education resources, with 133 universities and colleges and 219 technical schools in the Mega Region. Low taxes on gas, payroll, personal income, property, and unemployment insurance within Mega Region. Unmatched quality of life. From beaches to skiing to world-class golfing, stunning, diverse scenery from deserts to lakes to mountains, great weather with low risk of natural disasters. Discover what the Arizona-Sonora Mega Region can do for your business.
We're going to be transitioning to the plenary session in this room. We're just going to change a couple of things up here, but thank you, and we'll be back in 5 minutes.
Ladies and gentlemen, the governors are going to return. Please take a seat. Por favor, si pueden tomar su asiento, vamos a seguir adelante. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back to the stage Governor Doug Ducey and Governor Claudia Pavlovich, and President of the AMC, David Farka. Please welcome President of the AMC, David Farka.
Thank you, Jonathan. Please give a big round of applause to Jonathan Lyons, our MC for the event. I want to mention that the video we saw at the end of the last section, that's been a collaborative effort between both states, specifically our Economic Development Committee, the Arizona Commerce Authority, and the Secretary of the Economy in Sonora worked very hard together to put that video. And it just showcases what we've been able to achieve in a very short period of time with our relationship. So we're very proud to present that as both Arizona-Mexico Commission and Comisión Sonora-Arizona. It's just an example of the great things that we've been able to achieve. So as President of the Arizona-Mexico Commission, I would like to convene the plenary of the Commission. And we're going to start with my counterpart, President of the Comisión Arizona-Sonora, Ángel Robinson Burs.
Buenas tardes a todos. Gracias, David. Gracias, gobernadora Pavlovich y gobernador Ducey, por su gran hospitalidad y organización de este gran evento. Sin lugar a dudas, nos dejan un gran reto para Sonora. Una muestra más de su liderazgo, sobre todo en estos tiempos donde algunos erróneamente piensan que la manera de enfrentar los retos de entorno mundial es aislándose. Su convocatoria a enfrentarlos en forma conjunta los muestra como líderes modernos que son. Este evento es una muestra más donde ellos, más allá del discurso, muestran hechos tangibles de beneficios para la productividad de esta región. La licenciada Claudia Pavlovich tiene muy claro que la principal política social es el fomento al empleo y propone complementarnos y promover las principales áreas de desarrollo en nuestros estados, buscando coincidencias y oportunidades de desarrollo social y económico que se conviertan en un beneficio tangible para la población. Las comisiones Sonora-Arizona y Arizona-México hoy se han mostrado con compromiso para trabajar para esta gran región. Muchas gracias.
And I'm presenting the English version of all the agreements reached between all of our committees to our Governor Ducey. As many of you know, we have 14 bilateral committees. There's been tremendous work done by all of these committees. We don't have the time to read through all of the accomplishments from all 14 committees. We want to just move on to signing some of the agreements that we have on the agenda in the interest of time, but so everybody knows, all of the agreements reached within the committees will be available online for everybody to see. Now the two governors will be signing as witnesses a series of declarations of cooperation between the two states in 4 crucial areas: health, real estate, economic development, and transportation. So now I would like to invite the chairs of the Health Services Committee to come up to the stand and stand behind the governors while the governors are signing the declarations. The Declaration of Cooperation between Arizona Department of Health Services and the Sonora Secretariat of Public Health is to promote opportunities for exchange and training of public health professionals of both states and to join efforts to address concussions in the Arizona-Sonora region. Now I would like to invite the chairs of the Real Estate Committee to come up on stage, stand behind the governors while the governors are signing the declaration. The Declaration of Cooperation between the Catastral Institute of Registry for the State of Sonora and the Arizona Department of Real Estate aims to coordinate the sharing of information regarding the registration process in Sonora and Arizona. Would the co-chairs of the Economic Development Committee please join us on stage? The declaration of cooperation between the Arizona Commerce Authority and the Sonora Secretariat of Economy is to coordinate regional promotion and business attraction efforts. Now, if I can have the co-chairs of the Transportation Committee join us. The agreement on collaboration between the Arizona Department of Transportation and Department of Infrastructure and Urban Development of the state of Sonora is in collaboration and participation of the Arizona-Mexico Corridor Study. Thank you. We also have a special announcement. We would like to announce a new pilot program for the co-location of Mexican and U.S. custom officials at the Mariposa Port of Entry. This is a historical announcement. For the first time, we're going to have entities from both countries inspect shipments at the same time, saving significant amount of wait time at the border. I would like to recognize Mr. Will Brooks, Director of Field Operations, Tucson Sector for the U.S. Customs and Border Protection, and Alberto Morales, Director General for Technology and Infrastructure of the Mexican Customs Service. Thank you for your visionary leadership and for starting a pilot program that will change how business is done at the border. One of our plenary sponsors is SRP, and we have Mr. John Hoops representing SRP, if he can join us at the stage and give some remarks.
Good afternoon y muy buenas tardes. Governor Ducey, Governor Pavlovich, Secretary Calzada. My name is John Hoops, and I am the Vice President of Salt River Project, better known as SRP. I'm also proud to say I'm on the board of the Arizona-Mexico Commission. It is truly an honor for me to be here today on behalf of SRP's more than 5,000 employees, our 1 million electric customers, a surface and groundwater storage and canal system managing up to 4.2 million acre-feet of water, and our 13,000 square miles of watershed that provides that vital water. I thank you for your commitment to making Arizona and Sonora a prosperous region second to none. A state-of-the-art electrical grid and leading-edge water management strategies are essential to the sustainable growth of our region. We are proud to be a part of it. I am sometimes asked why SRP has a long-standing and robust interest in the improvement and maintaining of good relations between Arizona and Mexico, when SRP, given its nature, may not have a current commercial interest in Mexico. My answer is that SRP is a community-based, not-for-profit public utility. It was founded more than 100 years ago by people with sometimes different interests, but who shared a vision for development of a region. People whose priority was commitment to the greater good of all Arizona. Every Arizonan, we believe, should understand as we do that a rising economic tide raises all boats. That commitment is still our mission, and we believe the work of the Arizona-Mexico Commission in maintaining strong ties with Arizona's most important neighbor is essential to its success. Again, I thank you for this opportunity. It is our pleasure to help host this event. And I congratulate you both, governors, and David Farka, and everyone who's participated in this exceptional event for making it so successful and outstanding. Thank you very much. Muchas gracias.
I also want to recognize that this would not be possible without our staffs. Our staffs, both on the Sonora side and the Arizona side, have been working diligently to make this event flawless for everybody. So on behalf of my counterpart, Angel Burs, and myself, we really want to thank all of our staffs, our executive directors, Yamilet Martinez, Marcos Garay, the complete staff of the Comisión Sonora Arizona, and the Arizona-Mexico Commission. So please help me on a big round of applause for them. I also want to mention that the Arizona-Mexico Commission has a very robust board of directors, which is all voluntary. It's business leaders from around the state that help further the mission of the Arizona-Mexico Commission. Again, this is all voluntary, and I would like to thank my board. And also, we have several private initiative liaisons, like Juan Moreno in Sonora, that really put a tremendous amount of time without any monetary incentive to help further the cause. So thank you so much for all the time that you put together for this. We are a private-public entity, and we couldn't do all of this without our fundraising. So I would like to thank some of our sponsors for the commission, APS, SRP, University of Arizona, Arizona State University, Nogales Custom Brokers, the Fresh Produce Association. Thank you all for your sponsorships. To close our summit, we have a very special surprise for you. I'm happy to announce that we're running a little bit ahead of time. So I'm going to ask the governors to get off stage for a little bit. We have 5 minutes and we are going to come back. Don't get off of your seats. It's a big surprise that we have for you. So governors, if you could join us. And now for our big surprise, our big announcement. We have the honor of having a closing keynote speaker that really highlights how far the relationship between Arizona and Mexico have come. I'm very pleased to announce today with us, we have Secretary of Foreign Affairs, Claudia Ruiz Massieu. Claudia, Secretary Massieu, for those of you that are not so entrenched in politics, she is John Kerry's counterpart in Mexico. It is the highest level of office that we've had here in Arizona in many years. This is not only her first visit, it's her second visit as Secretary of Foreign Affairs. She was here earlier to open up the new consulate in Tucson. We're very grateful to have her here and to honor us with her presence to close this spectacular summit between Arizona and Sonora. So please give a warm Arizona welcome to Secretary Claudia Ruiz Massieu.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm deeply, deeply honored to stand here before you today, and I really want to thank everyone that has made it possible for me to get the invitation and for me to accept it. Mr. David Farka, of course, but particularly I want to acknowledge the presence and the great spirit of collaboration that Governor Ducey has. Governor, thank you for hosting me in your state. And I also want to acknowledge my good friends, Claudia Pavlovich's presence here. Thank you, all of you. I want to thank also Mr. Marcos Garay and Mr. John Hoops, and all of you for being here. Almost 6 decades ago, 57 years ago, Governor Paul Fannin had the vision to create this bilateral mechanism. Its ultimate goal was, and continues to be, the strengthening of the Mexico-Arizona relation. As he said back in 1959, "If God made us neighbors, let us be good neighbors." This message was valid then, and it still resonates loud and clear today. Our mutual dialogue, as in any sort of relationship, has had its ups and downs. It has not been an easy road. It has required mutual commitment, but it has yielded outstanding results. We have transformed our vicinity into a friendship based on common values and in partnership cemented on shared interests. And yet, Mexico, as well as the Grand Canyon State, have changed significantly during the past years, but the lesson has been constant. The more we trust and understand each other, the better we will be able to embrace and seize the many opportunities we have to prosper together. So let me share with you all just a glimpse of today's Mexico. It is of the utmost importance that you really know why Mexico is your best bet and why we are your best partner. For most of the 20th century, Mexico was a closed economy. But today, we have 12 free trade agreements with 46 countries, which give us access to 1.2 billion consumers worldwide, 60% of the global market. In moments when globalization and economic integration are being put to a test, let me tell you Mexico's success story. Free trade has made Mexico's economy stronger and more diversified. We're the world's 15th largest economy, with a GDP of $1.1 trillion. We're the second largest economy in Latin America. And today, 85% of our exports are advanced manufactured goods, whereas 30 years ago, when we started thinking about free trade as a means to create jobs and prosperity for our people, 30 years ago, more than 70% of our exports were oil-based. Actually, we're the third largest advanced manufactured exporter within the G20 countries, just after South Korea and Germany. Add to that solid institutions, like an independent central bank, and you will understand why Mexico is one of the most stable economies worldwide, and as such, an attractive and reliable place for investment, which makes us the 13th largest foreign direct investment recipient. And let me give you proof. In spite of international instability, we were one of the few Latin American countries whose GDP grew in 2015. Last but not least, Mexico is a country endowed with cultural diversity and natural beauty, which makes us the 9th country in the world with the largest international tourist inflow. I know my colleague, the Secretary of Tourism, was here yesterday sharing with you many of this data. This is not surprising, since we're the 4th most biodiverse and one of the 6 mega-diverse countries in the planet. Also, we're home to 33 of UNESCO's World Heritage Sites list. We are the country with the most cultural, natural, and mixed sites in the Americas. Until now, you probably are thinking, yes, it seems Mexico is doing great, but why should it matter to us in this side of the border? Well, let me tell you why. Because not only our countries as neighbors have changed, but the neighborhood itself has been in a constant and positive transformation during all these years. Zero-sum games are an obsolete thought. Today, the reality is that prosperity for any of our countries is not at the expense of the other, but in fact cannot be achieved without the other. Just think of this. Our economies are so deeply integrated and intertwined that the Mexican exports to this country or to any other country in the world have an average of 40% US content. This means that when you buy Mexican products, 40 cents of every dollar support the United States economy, compared to the 4 pennies that China contributes to it. Let me give you a practical definition of a mutually beneficial partnership. Today, 6 million US jobs depend on the commercial relation with Mexico. The United States has become our largest trading partner, accounting for 64% of total trade and 80% of our exports. We are either the first, second, or third trading partner to 30 out of 50 states in this country. And Arizona is number 4, and Mexico is Arizona's first trading partner. To put this into perspective, think that every minute of every hour of every day, Mexico and the United States trade $1 million. Every minute of every hour of every day. And add these numbers, and you will find that bilateral trade between Mexico and the United States in 2015 reached over $500 billion, $531 billion to be exact. I know it is hard to process this astronomical figure, so just think that this sum represents a greater trade between Mexico and the United States than what the United States trades with Japan, Germany, and South Korea combined. Or if you prefer, the United States exports to Mexico 3.6 times more than what it exports to Russia, Brazil, India, and South Africa combined. And thanks to NAFTA, since 1994, bilateral trade between Mexico and the United States grew 547%. Now, how is all this even possible? Let me tell you how. Our common border has been one of the main drivers and triggers. 70% of the $1.4 billion in daily bilateral trade travels by land in cargo trucks, which carry goods, development, and millions of jobs. In a nutshell, they are transporting well-being for people in Mexico and the United States. For many years now, we have defied and changed the paradigm, making our border an area of prosperity, and we Mexicans will continue defying borders. We embrace the border as a home of a vibrant binational community, where every day 1 million people and 370,000 vehicles travel in an orderly and lawful manner through the 58 crossings we have between our two countries. The border is really sort of a third country. It is not Mexico, it is not the United States, it is a third and very unique entity which houses its own dynamics, actors, and successes. At its core, it is neither Mexican nor American. It is both, a second homeland and our common ground. When you live in the border, you do not need a compass, for in the border, everything merges and differences fade. North and South, Spanish, English, Spanglish, Mexicans, and Americans. It is more than a binational space. It is a wonderful multicultural mosaic. We praise mechanisms like this commission because we, the federal authorities in Mexico City or in Washington, D.C. need to know, but mainly to understand the border. It needs a reality. It is a reality with greater depth than we can imagine sitting in our desks back home. And the Mexico-Arizona border provides us with one of the most interesting Petri dishes. The Mexico-Arizona border does not divide, it binds. It is not a closed frontier, but an open threshold. This 375-mile border is a genuine land of opportunity. When you look at the hard data, the naked truth is twofold. The fundamentals for a prosperous relations are solid, and thus what is good for one is not also good for the other, but better for both. So there is no way out. We need to work shoulder to shoulder and continue to build a common vision of shared prosperity and opportunities. It makes sense. Since Mexico is Arizona's largest trading partner, 41% of your exports go to our country. This is almost twice Arizona's bilateral commerce with Canada, China, Germany, and the United Kingdom combined. Let's see what happens after Brexit. And flag this. This is a business partnership that generates almost 120,000 Arizonian jobs. Most importantly, our integration is only deepening. Between 2012 and 2015 alone, Arizona's exports to Mexico grew by 45%, from $6.3 to $9.2 billion. The importance of the Arizona-Mexico border is not only local, but national. The largest port of entry, Nogales, accounts for approximately 7% of the total traffic by value between Mexico and the United States. Consumers throughout the United States also rely on Mexico to get 34% of its total fresh produce output during the winter, and the Nogales, Arizona port of entry is the main gateway. So people eating a salad back in New York or in Oregon should thank you here in Arizona. By the way, this industry not only makes sure people all over the union have fresh produce, it creates 4,000 jobs in Santa Cruz County. It is not only Mexican products crossing the border, but people who bring prosperity to this great state. Approximately 65,000 Mexican citizens travel legally to Arizona every day, either for business or pleasure. Tourism is one of the top 5 Arizona export industries, and Mexicans, who represent 70% of the visitors to this state, are the ones who make this industry bloom. Most of them, 93% of them to be precise, are day trip tourists who come for shopping, spending $7.3 million every day. By doing that, they sustain almost 24,000 direct and more than 160,000 indirect jobs in this state. So again, if we want to create jobs and sustainable prosperity in Mexico and in Arizona, we have to be clear. Mexico is not the problem. Mexico is part of the solution. Mexicans who come as tourists, bring their money to spend, and that is a good thing. But the people who really buttress the U.S. and Arizona's economies are the ones who stay here to work hard and honestly. The total population of Mexican origin in the United States generate 8% of America's GDP. Here in Arizona, the Latino community, of which 90% are Mexican or Mexican American, contribute with $6.2 billion in taxes and 3.1 more to Social Security. Latinos also own 90,000 businesses in the state, 80% of which are of the Mexican-American community. And they employ more than 60,000 people with an annual revenue of $10 billion and a payroll of $1.6 billion. In Phoenix, the average Hispanic household income is now of $57,000, and the demand they create is bolstering 6 major industries: medical services, motor vehicles, transportation services, food and beverages, recreational goods, furniture, and apparel. All this only invites us to imagine the possibilities ahead. It has been estimated that if comprehensive immigration reform passes someday, hopefully in the near future, undocumented immigrants in Arizona, integrated to the formal economy, would create 14,000 new jobs and more than $1.18 billion for the state's GDP by the year 2020. The Arizona-Mexico Commission is a privileged forum where good neighbors gather to discuss key issues and get to know each other better. Friends should always be able to engage in open, frank, and meaningful conversations. That is why I commend your efforts, your vision, and leadership. Yes, we're all friends, but each one of us and the circumstances themselves change over time. So it is important to keep reinforcing our ties, reinvigorating our relation, and expanding the reach of our partnership. You Arizonans know how to build great things. Parker Dam, the deepest in the world, Palo Verde, the largest power plant in the United States, or Lake Mead, the largest water reservoir. And we Mexicans are creative, hardworking people in a country that's transforming itself and is set to be one of the most exciting destinations to visit, to invest in, and to do business with. But it takes two to tango. And so I hope that the dialogue that we have wisely decided to relaunch continues to grow, always having mutual respect as its key pillar. From our part, Mexico and President Peña Nieto's government is determined to continue to cultivate mutual trust to jointly achieve our ultimate goal, to prosper and to grow stronger together. Pragmatically, as partners who share interests, united as allies who uphold common values, and sincerely as best neighbors should do. Thank you again for this opportunity.
Wow, what an honor. Thank you so much again, Secretary Ruiz-Massieu. I heard you say that Arizona is the 4th state in trade with Mexico. Governor Ducey, I heard that as a challenge for you and I. We're competitive and we do not like to be number 4. So we're going to be working on that together. With that, I want to give the podium to my counterpart, Angel Burs, to make some great announcements as well.
Buenas tardes. De parte de la gobernadora Claudia Pavlovich, queremos agradecerles la asistencia a este evento y queremos invitarlos el día 1 y 2 de diciembre en Hermosillo, Sonora, para el evento que vamos a tener la plenaria ya. Muchas gracias.
So with that, I want to officially close the 2016 Arizona-Mexico Commission Summit. And like we've learned from our partners from Mexico, they've taught us well, and it's time to party and celebrate. So I would ask everybody to join us, reacquaint with your newfound friendships. Join us for the pre-gala reception dinner at the Palomino Foyer. And there's a slight change on the schedule. Dinner's going to start at 7 p.m. So thank you everybody for coming, and see you at the gala dinner.